studies from the Institute for Women's Policy Research rank Louisiana 49th in the nation overall for women's health and 49th again for wage equality. But a state lawmaker is aiming to take Louisiana from one of the worst states for women to one of the best. Joining us now is State Representative Helena Moreno. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me about your new initiative.
Sure. So I started a nonprofit just this week. We launched it called Ignite Advocacy Network. Through my work in the legislature, one of the things that I realized is that there are so many individuals and so many groups that are interested in or working in issues that affect women and their families, but there was nothing that was kind of bringing everybody together. And so I said, look, we've got to figure out a way to unite everyone, kind of like a unified army to work on women's issues. And so that's what Ignite is going to do. So we launched on Monday, and the response has been tremendous. I really expected about 200 people to join our network, and we've had over 1,600 people join, and we've had over 18,000 people look at our YouTube ad, just on YouTube. So the response has been great, and we just hope to continue to grow, because when there is a piece of legislation or a policy that's in play affecting women, we want to be able to activate this army and say, okay, now we need you to contact your lawmaker, or we need you to show up at the Capitol, or we need you to write a letter to the editor. So that's what Ignite aims to do.
And so that common voice is all feminine issues, and women's issues, but it's across the gamut, across generations. It's
Absolutely.
Young women, it's
Yes.
single mothers, it's working women,
Yes.
it's retired women. There's this platform of 4 pillars that it's based on. Walk us through that and how it really affects different women from different
Sure.
age groups and from different backgrounds.
So we're taking a look at really 4 main issues. We've got violence prevention, we've got economic opportunities, we've got education, and health and well-being. So those are 4 main issues. And I want to remind everybody that Ignite is a nonpartisan organization. So that's why we have lawmakers on both sides of the aisle who are interested in Ignite and who have logged onto our network. We also have some local celebrities who also say this is a great initiative, like Brian Batt, who's a local actor. Obviously, you know, he's someone who's nationally recognized as an actor, and he's supporting Ignite. So that's what we're trying to do. I mean, there are so many people who are interested in this issue. Now let's bring everybody together. Let's be this unified army and push for positive changes.
We're 49th now, we know that. But what do you think Louisiana can be?
Oh gosh, I would love for Louisiana to become one of the best states in the nation for women. When you take a look at, you know, for example, the mortality rates for cancer, for like cervical and breast cancer death rates. I mean, those are cancers that if they're caught early, that you know, the outcomes can be so much better. If you take a look at overall, when it comes to dating partners and domestic violence murders, we're some of the top in the country. So there are some policy changes that we can make, even when we're talking about equitable pay, that we can push through the legislature that could really cause some significant changes. Unfortunately, particularly when it comes to equitable pay for women, that legislation has consistently failed. But if you take a look at what's happened, you know, we have some very fantastic advocates who have been there every time, but it's only been about 20 of them. And so if the legislature really sees that there is a united front around this particular issue, they will listen. They listen to their constituents, but we need this united force to get those things done.
Representative Moreno, turning up the volume for women's issues. I appreciate that. Well, the website again is igniteforchange.org. You can also use the hashtag IgniteWithUs to keep up with them on social media.
Okay. Well, here's a look through our Terrebonne General Medical Center camera. You can see we've got some partly to mostly cloudy skies all across southeast Louisiana this morning. Not much in terms of rainfall outside right now, and only about a 20% chance. Here's a shot through our Lee Circle camera. Got some cloudy skies out here as well. And the humidity level, well, it's still up there. It's still about 100%, especially with those strong southerly winds that we have outside across southeast Louisiana this morning. Here's the national picture. And we've got a couple of frontal boundaries that are moving in our direction, some low pressure areas and associated fronts headed in this direction, and they're going to change up our weather quite a bit as we go in tonight and into tomorrow as well. I want to take you around the country a little bit too, because if you're traveling today, if you're headed towards the Dakotas or over towards Montana, parts of Idaho, well, all the area that you see in pink is where they are under a wind chill warning. So some very cold temperatures out in this direction if you're headed that way. For the Saints game, we're keeping track of that as well. well. They're playing in Glendale tomorrow, Glendale, Arizona at 3 o'clock. For that game, some mostly sunny skies, some near perfect weather for the Saints game. Light breeze out there, 62 degrees to kick off. The gray area that Phoenix is under right now is an air quality warning that's in place until late tonight. So that will not be the case for tomorrow. Hey, if you're headed towards towards Colorado or parts of New Mexico, well, the area that you see shaded in white, that's all under a winter storm warning until 11 a.m. this morning. And if you're headed up towards the northeast, take a look at this. What a big mess. The rainfall turned into sleet, turned into snowfall across this region. Definitely expect some delays if you're headed up in that direction. And here across the southeast United States, overall, we're in pretty good shape. The freezing rain advisories have kind of collapsed a little bit. Winter weather advisories indicated by the purple. Wind advisories over in Texas indicated by the tan color. And here in southeast Louisiana, no rainfall right now, about a 20% chance of rainfall in the forecast for today. And that's going to go up quite significantly tomorrow. Temperatures outside are in the low to mid 70s across southeast Louisiana. Got some upper 60s on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Boothville is at 68 degrees this morning. The winds, it's breezy outside across the area. The winds blowing anywhere from 7 to 16 miles per hour north and south of the lake. The Mississippi Gulf Coast, the winds all out of the south. This afternoon, I'm expecting those winds to get up to 20, maybe 24 miles per hour at times under some mostly cloudy skies. And you can see some of the rainfall that I'm expecting this afternoon. It's not a lot, again, about a 20% chance. That's this afternoon and into this evening. Tomorrow, more like an 80% chance of rainfall. This is at 6 a.m. Temperatures much lower than they have been this morning. We're all somewhere in the 60s, both north and south of the lake, the Mississippi Gulf Coast as well. That line of showers and storms is a possibility, make their way across the area in the morning. And then in the afternoon, we could possibly see some more stormy weather make its way across southeast Louisiana as your temperatures only getting up into the 40s tomorrow, mid 40s for most of us across the North Shore, some low to mid 40s. So it's going to be a chilly day tomorrow, some windy conditions as well. Some rainfall is going to stretch into the evening hours for your Sunday evening, and we'll probably see some of that on Monday morning as well. And notice the little bit of a pink that's showing up in this picture across parts of the North Shore, the Mississippi Gulf Coast as well. Possibility exists that we could see a little sleet in parts of the area as well. And then here's our temperatures at 9 a.m. on Monday morning. We're in the low to mid 30s on the North Shore, some upper 30s down here on the South Shore. And your 7-day forecast shows you that the rainfall chance is going down on Monday, but still there a little bit. And into Thursday, about a 40% chance, a little bit cooler, then a little bit warmer once again.
Well, it's what you might call the hidden power of plastic, perks and benefits of credit cards. NBC's Jillian Kent explains.
As you use your credit card this holiday season, you should know it may have hidden benefits that can save you big money in a pinch.
I was super scared. I didn't know what to do.
When Lauren Bergman's car broke down, she called the number on the back of her American Express card as a last resort. The company sent a tow truck free of charge.
I never in a million years would have imagined that my credit card could do all the things that it could do and that they would be my saving grace.
And when Bergman dropped and shattered her iPhone after her Apple warranty was up, her card gave her a 100% refund. Many popular credit cards offer these kinds of little-known benefits. According to a recent survey, 81% offer extended warranties, 57% provide purchase protection, like reimbursing you for items that are lost, stolen, or damaged. 47% give price protection, refunding the difference if the price drops on an item within 4 months after purchase. And 26% guarantee returns, even when stores don't.
You could be missing out on hundreds of dollars a year in extra benefits from your credit card company. Everything from roadside assistance to paying for your hotel if you miss your flight due to weather-related travel concerns.
But they don't cover everything. They usually exclude cars, jewelry, medical equipment, and computer software.
At the end of the day, you never know when it could really help you out.
Experts say call or check online to discover the perks that may be hiding in plain sight. Jolene Kent, NBC News, New York.
Leonard Fournette's college football career is over, what he is focusing on now, and where he ranks with LSU. Coming up in sports.
One of the hardest things I have to do, to sit out and watch my brothers compete against a great Louisville team that's coming up.
And with that, Leonard Fournette's illustrious career as a Tiger is officially in the books. Fournette said it was a decision made by he and Coach O, and both felt it was the best and right decision. And this had a lot to do with Fournette's ankle injury that lingered for most of the season, which caused him to miss 4 games. Fournette says his ankle feels around 85 to 90% right now. He suffered the injury back in camp in August, and that ankle took another hit in the opener against Wisconsin. And there's no knock in his heart because Fournette played in 7 games and wasn't 100%. The former St. Aug Purple Knight rushed for 843 yards and 8 scores this season, including 284 yards against Ole Miss, which was a school record until Darius Geis broke that against Texas A&M. Fournette says he will be at the bowl game with his teammates, rehab, and get ready for the NFL draft.
Just to know that I'm not a quitter at all. You know, I tried to play through the injury, as best as I could. So it was hard knowing that the hard work that I put in didn't build up to the season. I remember at St. Aug, man, LSU was supporting me, wanted me to come here and be an LSU Tiger. And my first year here was magnificent. I can remember the Ole Miss game, everybody running on the field. There's little things like that I can't forget. Especially the people who surrounds LSU, who embarked on me coming here. I mean, it's a great feeling. And I had my ups and downs there, as far as my last 2 years, from 7-0, 7-3, or whatever the case may be. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. It made me who I am today.
And it was a record career for Fournette. He had an LSU single-season rushing record, 1,953 yards in 2015. For his career, Fournette finished 4th in school history with 3,830 yards. First with 6.2 yards per carry, first with close to 120 rushing yards per game, and tied for 3rd with 40 rushing touchdowns in 19 100-yard rushing games. Kevin Falk owns all the records that Fournette did not break. Fournette isn't the only one missing the Citrus Bowl. Louisville co-offensive coordinator Lonnie Galloway won't be there. Galloway has been suspended for his role in receiving information about Wake Forest game plans before their game in November. Louisville's AD stated that head coach Bobby Petrino did not know of any information. The Saints are looking to end a 2-game slide when they face the Cardinals in Arizona tomorrow. Drew Brees is also trying to end a streak of his own. 3 interceptions and no touchdowns in back-to-back games for the first time in his career. Brees says he's had bad games before and has bounced back, so his confidence will always remain high.
It bothers me that it happened. I could care less what people say. I really could. There's a lot of things that annoy me, and a lot of things statistically annoy me, believe it or not. But no, I am disappointed in the fact that it happened. And the good thing is I know how to fix it.
Stephon Anthony and Delvin Breaux are a no-go for the Cardinals game. 4 other guys, including Craig Robertson and Max Unger, are questionable. All 4 of those guys and Mark Ingram were limited at practice Friday. That'll do it for your morning sports. We'll see you right back here later on today.
Remember, you can stay informed anytime, anywhere, 24/7. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and, of course, the WDSU smartphone app. We'll be right back.
Live, local, late breaking. This is WDSU News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 9:30 on this Saturday morning. You're looking outside at some cloudy skies. I'm Jennifer Crockett here with Damon Singleton, who has a fresh cup of coffee behind me. I'm over here in the weather pod. Yes! I'm over here in the weather pod in his neck of the woods, and it just smells great like coffee. So maybe you're having your second or third cup.
I'll grab you a cup here.
Well, I'll let you do the weather first. How about that?
Sounds good to me. You know those cloudy skies that we have right now?
Yes.
They're going to be with us all day long. So mostly cloudy skies later this morning and this afternoon, and the rain is going to be back. And some cooler temperatures on the way, too.
You're just full of good news.
But there's no rain around right now. So, look, if you're trying to get some shopping done this weekend, today is definitely a better day than tomorrow will be. We are mostly rain-free, only about a 20% chance of rainfall in the forecast for today. The visibility has gotten a lot better across most of the area, but still about 5 miles at the lakefront and 5 miles of visibility over in Houma because of some of that patchy dense fog that we have this morning. Hey, here's a look at your temperatures, and they are dramatically higher than they were at this time time yesterday, so no, those heavy jackets are not required this morning, but tomorrow morning, you're going to have to break them out again. Hey, temperatures right now across the board in the low to mid 70s for the most part, some upper 60s on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And fishermen and fisherwomen, here's a look at your tides over Grand Isle. 1.2 is the range of tide, 1.6 at the Southwest Pass, and at the Wrigley's, 1.7 is the range of tide there. Hey, when I come back, I'll talk to you more about the stormy weather I'm expecting tomorrow, but now back to Jennifer.
New this morning, police are on the hunt for the person who carjacked and shot a man on the edge of the French Quarter overnight. Check out video from the scene. Police say it happened just before 1:45 a.m. at the intersection of Canal Street and North Rampart. You can see officers examining the vehicle that's wrecked as they tape off that crime scene. Police officers say they heard 6 to 8 gunshots, and at one point they had to shut down Canal Street to assess the situation. Police say the victim was shot in the hand. Investigators haven't released any information about a suspect. Also new this morning, a man is dead after he was gunned down in Gentilly early this morning. Police say it happened just before 3:30 on Fairmont Drive near the corner of West St. Rock. The victim was taken to the hospital where he later died. Police haven't released any information about a suspect or a motive. And it all comes as police search for 2 men wanted for an armed robbery on Royal Street. It happened just before 10 Thursday night near the intersection of Royal and Maisant Streets. Police say a man and woman were approached from behind by 2 men with guns. The men got away with a purse and a phone. Now over to New Orleans East, where police are searching for this man, 54-year-old Donnell Johnson. Police say he slashed another man Thursday night at the corner of Morrison Road and Dorothea Street. Police say the victim was walking when Johnson got out of an SUV and started swinging a knife at him. They say another passenger in the SUV got out and stopped the fight, and then Johnson left the scene. If you have any information about any of the crimes we just mentioned, call Crime Stoppers. That number 822-1111. A tech failure at Tulane is to blame for admission letters mistakenly being sent to 130 prospective students. The university's director of admissions says the emails were sent out Wednesday afternoon before the final decisions were made. Hours later, those same students were informed of the error. The director wrote, quote, "What Tulane has done is inexcusable, and I offer those students, their families, their high school counselors, and their communities a heartfelt apology. Tulane can do better, and we will," end quote. Legitimate admissions letters were emailed at midnight on Thursday. Right now, a public health emergency in the town of St. Joseph because of elevated lead and copper levels in some water samples. The town has struggled with poor water quality for years. Now, out of an abundance of caution, people there are being urged to find another source of water. Now over to Jefferson Parish, where investigators say about a dozen deputies fired at the teenager who led police on a chase and shot at patrol cars in Gretna. Police say 17-year-old Ray John Brown of New Orleans was spotted driving a stolen car and refused to stop. A barricade was set up in Gretna where a sheriff's deputy was injured when he was hit by the car that they say Brown was driving. During a shootout with deputies, Brown was shot in the stomach. He was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. JPSO says Brown was wanted in New Orleans on a charge of aggravated assault with a weapon.
I can tell you that my office has cooperated with the federal authorities since the beginning of this investigation.
A day after agents with the FBI raided Hammond Police Department and the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Daniel Edwards issued a brief statement saying little insight into the developments during the raid on the 2 government buildings. FBI agents took cell phones, cars, and computers. The FBI would only say that it was, quote, conducting court-authorized actions, end quote. The raid appeared to be connected to a federal case involving 2 former Tangipahoa Parish deputies who were indicted in October. Those deputies, both former DEA task force officers, are charged with stealing cash and drugs during a raid. Back in Orleans Parish, an accused murderer, 33-year-old Ronald Claude, is suspected of stabbing another inmate, 35-year-old Ronald Jenkins, 4 times at the Orleans Parish Jail. Jenkins was taken to the hospital for treatment. Ronald Claude is jailed in connection to a 2015 murder in New Orleans. The Municipal Auditorium in Armstrong Park has been shuttered since Katrina. The city says there's not nearly enough money in the bank to fix it, and they've reached an impasse with FEMA. So what happens now? Take a look.
Don't go in there. No, I decided not to go in there. It's a bad thing.
Edward McMillan is staying at the Covenant House across from Armstrong Park. One of the first things homeless advocates told him, stay away from the auditorium because of prostitution, drugs, and other criminal activity happening inside.
Michael Erminger walks Armstrong Park almost every day. He even named his newborn son Lewis after the park's namesake trumpeter.
And we've come before, we've seen weddings set up in this area right here. They set up the, stuff where the altar is right here in front of Armstrong, Louis Armstrong, and it's just kind of a shame that that building is behind it, like I said, an otherwise beautiful park.
So what happened to the money that was supposed to be spent here? In a statement, Mayor Mitch Landrieu's press secretary said the city has worked hard over the last 11 years to get enough money to fix Municipal Auditorium. But there's still a huge gap. FEMA offered up $7 million in 2010, which was increased to $41.7 million today. The cost, they say, to fix the building, more than $80 million, saying, quote, "At this time, we have reached an impasse in our negotiations. To resolve this dispute, the city and FEMA will enter into an arbitration process so that we may secure the necessary public assistance funding to cover all eligible repairs to damage caused by Katrina."
And when that funding gap will be filled is not known. The city said the Municipal Auditorium could one day be turned into space for commerce, similar to the St. Roch Market and the World Trade Center building's Four Seasons project. Well, a popular uptown eatery, O. Henry's Food and Spirits, abruptly closed for good. The restaurant, which opened in 1982, was famous for letting you toss your peanut shells on the floor and giving you a free steak on your birthday. A sign on the door at the Carrollton Avenue location simply read, "Closed, effective December 15th. No reason yet for that abrupt closure. Tonight, Southern Miss will take on UL Lafayette in the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Tens of thousands of their fans from across the region are in town and kicked off the weekend with a fan fest at Champion Square. The Golden Eagles and Ragin' Cajuns have met on the field more than 50 times, but they've never met in this bowl game before. Kickoff time for the big game tonight is 8 inside the Superdome.
Well, cloudy and kind of warm today. Tomorrow, showers and storms. When I come back, I'll give you a feel for the timing of it all. That's coming up in a minute.
Well, if you haven't smiled yet today, get ready. This next story we first shared with you on our Facebook page, but it was just too good not to take a second look on air. Here are the Acro Cats.
I've been training animals my whole life, and I'd worked with cats before. Basically, I'm the human element of the show, but the show is really all about the cats. People were pretty amazed because I think, well, you can't train cats. You can't train cats. So I decided that I would put a whole little show together. We have cats that push shopping carts, ring bells, jump through hoops, roll on a ball. Good boy. We have a all-cat band. Their music is not that great. It's kind of free-form jazz. It's all their own material. There's definitely the divas in the troupe. And in the band, there's been occasional swatting between band members. Sometimes there's maybe been a little catnip used before the show. There's cats that are solo artists, so they have to have their individual solo spot in the show. Yay. They're all former orphans, rescues, and strays that have come into my life over the years. Oz, Buffy, Wiki, Annie. So I got involved with fostering rescue at that point. The first time I went to get my litter, they said, well, whoever you don't pick from this room, we're going to euthanize. So it was devastating to hear, so I took all 11. Found all of them homes, went back and got more. And to this day, I've been continuing with my fostering and rescue, and we found homes for 189 cats and kittens in 2009. The name of this show is the Meowie Catmas Show in New Orleans. It is really the ultimate perfect way to celebrate Christmas, and a lot of people make it their Christmas tradition and come and see the show every Christmas.
New Orleans. I like it.
Yeah, it's cute.
It is cute. But that lady, she sells out full theaters all the time here in New Orleans. Those cats are legit, I'm telling you. Okay, it's going to be the next big thing.
I believe you.
All right. Well, we'll move on to weather headlines then, because there are some big things happening.
Yeah. There are some really big things. You know, if you've been outside this morning, you already know that the temperatures are way higher.
Way higher.
Than they were. So you had your heater on yesterday.
Right.
AC is going to be today. Heater's back tomorrow.
Yes.
And
big time.
Yeah, and it's going to be, you're going to need it for a couple of days before the temperatures go right back up. But here's a look at through our Lee Circle camera. You can see we've got those cloudy skies all across southeast Louisiana this morning, some high humidity as well, and a little bit of a breeze is with us across southeast Louisiana this morning as well, but there's no rainfall. We had a couple of light showers early this morning, but nothing significant right now across southeast Louisiana. Only about a 20% chance of rainfall is in the forecast for today, and there's plenty of rain out there. It's not over our heads. It's off to the northeast of us especially, and it's a pretty colorful map. The tan indicates where the wind advisory is in place. All the purple is an indication of the winter weather advisories that are in place. A freezing rain advisory is in place in parts of North Carolina and up in Virginia as well. So some very active weather across the country, especially if you're headed towards the northeast where all that rainfall is turned into sleet and turned into snowfall. And that's definitely going to cause some problems for a lot of folks if you're traveling to that part of the country later on today. So be prepared for that. And if you're going anywhere towards the Dakotas or Montana, Idaho, parts of Colorado, some very, very cold temperatures out in that direction. These are actual temperatures, not wind chill factors. It is actually minus 15 degrees in Bismarck right now. Over in Billings, it is minus 17 degrees. The actual temperature in Denver is minus 3 degrees. The jet stream is drawing all that air down from Canada, and that's going to be moving in our direction as this low pressure area and the cold front makes its way into and through southeast Louisiana tomorrow. Our rain chances are going to go up and our temperatures are going to go down. But I think today overall,